All right, good evening, everyone. And I'll call to order our final board meeting of the 2026 school year, which is very exciting. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, before we get into our regular agenda, I'll just acknowledge part of the reason we were a few minutes late was we had some staff and student recognition over in the secondary school in the auditorium. So, there's so many wonderful things to celebrate, so much talent. And so, just very briefly for those who are here and those maybe listening at home, 3 teachers were named New York State Master Teachers. And I think it is worthy of a moment. So Rebecca, if you wouldn't mind, just put that in context, what a small group of people actually earn this status and on Long Island, if you wouldn't mind.
I'm excited to speak about how rigorous this process is and how rigorous this process is, and that it is not only application, references, transcripts, but also you have to take a content area test. This is for STEM teachers. There are only 25 in the cohort per year on Long Island. It's a 4-year commitment to training and sharing their professionalism as well. So we are very lucky that we have 3. Do you want me to give the names?
Sure.
Right. And 3 exemplary teachers within the district. We have 2 math. Thank you. 2 math teachers. We have Laura Petrus, who is remarkable, and Derek Jones, who is unmatched, and also one of our physics teachers, Dr. Krakel. So 3 exceptional teachers who have been recognized on a state level. So it's wonderful.
All right, thank you, Dr. Chowski. And from my own children's recommendations as well, like they are all fabulous. So thank you for that. And then very quickly, a National Merit Scholarship winner, Colin Gibbs. I want to acknowledge that also, like a very select group of students actually win that scholarship. Also, Adriana Chan, corporate-sponsored National Merit Scholarship winner, fabulous. And then we also had the whole Manhasset Unified Basketball team, Mr. Fay and Melissa, obviously, is our advisor. So, fabulous group of people. And Laura, thank you for your comments over in the auditorium. They were wonderful. So congratulations again to all of our staff and students. So the next bit of good news here, we are on to acceptance of gifts. So you want to take that, Dr. P, or?
Thank you very much. The Board of Education is proud tonight to welcome some people in from the Tower organization. We have a big check I see in actual size of the check and the number there that's being donated. So I'm going to ask our Tower folks to come up. Is there a mic set up or yeah, Gerard, would you mind sharing that mic? And I'm going to ask our folks to come up and share with us this donation, this gift to the Board of Education. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you so much. On behalf of the Tower Foundation of Manhasset, we are thrilled to be able to present this gift. We are excited for the business-ready classroom that it will go fund. It's always wonderful to be able to support the school and the community, and we're excited to be able to do that year over year.
Thank you. Oh, yes, we'll do a photo. Let's actually take a check. That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you again to the Tower Foundation. That is so meaningful and so important and well received, and will obviously be put to great use here in the district. So as always, thank you again to the Tower Foundation. Yeah, and then we have one other also important acknowledgement.
Sorry. I apologize. I just got discombobulated for a second. Please come over. Let's say the number, right, on the check. Yeah, $86,500, which is incredible. Thank you. And please.
Sure. The three of us here representing Tower. I'm Alicia Cho. This is Vicky Durakakis and RG Vatakis. Where again, we represent the organization whose mission it is to raise funds for the school district. So we're here to represent and we're excited to donate the gift.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right.
Close to July.
Yes.
And I'm sorry.
All right. No problem. Well done. I want to make sure that's well acknowledged, that a ton of work goes into raising all of those funds, and it's critical that we continue to partner with the Tower Foundation. So thank you. And then also importantly, the Board of Education gratefully acknowledges and authorizes the administration to accept a gift of $222 in memory of Pat Shanzer, a former director of special education and pupil personnel services for Manhasset schools. The funds are going to be used for an outing for the youngest children attending the Manhasset Extended Summer summer program. So, and then just a moment here to acknowledge Ms. Shanzer. Pat Shanzer graduated from Queens College in New York with a bachelor's degree in education and later earned a master's degree in special education from Hofstra University. She spent the early part of her career in special education, working with the youngest students at Shelter Rock Elementary School in the Manhasset School District. She moved through the administrative ranks, becoming a coordinator of special education at the school, and then the district a director of special education and pupil personnel services for the entire district. In this position, Pat was responsible for supervising all of Manhasset's special education teachers and ensuring that all students, no matter their disabilities, received a free and appropriate education as guaranteed by law. After retiring in 2000, Pat used the expertise she gained from her decades in Manhasset to assist many school districts across Long Island administrators with their special education programs. So I also want to acknowledge her husband, Bob, her son, David, her other son, Gary, and her cousin, Susan Warner. So thank you so much for acknowledging Ms. Shanzer. So, all right. A motion to accept. Yeah. So can I have a motion? Maria, second. Excellent. All in favor? All right. That's 5-0 to accept these wonderful gifts. All right. So move along here. And we do have a stacked agenda. So we are interested in smart brevity tonight. That is going to be the theme, which I hope we can stick to. So can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting? Maria? Second, Allison, all in favor? All right, we approve the minutes, and we'll get right into our superintendent's report.
Thank you, sir. We are at the end of the year. We made it to our final meeting here together. Thank you so much. Thank you to the community. Thank you to the Board of Education. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you to the team here. Appreciate everyone's work, hard work and efforts throughout the year, to our students, our staff as well. So appreciative of being able to arrive at this point together after another successful year here in Manhasset schools. We have graduation. Catherine, when's graduation? Saturday, what time? What time do you have to be here? Holy cow. You guys got to get ready, huh? 3:30. Okay, excellent. So yes, Saturday graduation right on the front here. The bleachers are already being put out there. We're polishing everything and cutting the hedges and making everything look really sharp, really nice. And I saw some banners hanging already. So it's going to be an outstanding day. The weather looks beautiful. So looking forward to that celebration, the commencement of the class of 2026. Thank you so much. I also want to mention our student athletes We have the New York State champion boys lacrosse team here in Manhasset Schools. They will be honored Tuesday, the 23rd at 3 p.m. with a parade that will take us around the community, a short little trip around the community and back. And we will hear from the county executive, no doubt. There'll be a showmobile out in front of the sign out in front. And excuse me. And that will be a good time, certainly for everyone. I also want to make, and congratulations to the team. What an incredible season I had. We have also had some other incredible student athlete performances that I need to recognize. We had a state champion cross country runner in Blake Seeley. We had the state champion 3K steeplechase, Braden Jackalow. We had state champion 4x800 relay in track, Luke Falco, Braden Jackalow, Nicholas Katsoulis, and Blake Seeley. We had a 100-yard breaststroke state champion, Andrew Kowick. We had a 1-meter diving champion, state champion, Victoria Wang, state champion in golf, Ryan Liu, and team state championship boys varsity lacrosse, which I mentioned. In crew, we had juniors, Krisha Wadwa and Elise Biaskovich, state champions, and 6th place nationally in the under 19 quad race. And this young lady, this person was not a state champion, Kate Vogler, but she broke the state record in high jump this year, 6'1". So not only do we commend incredible teachers and incredible staff and incredible student in terms of academics, but also athletics as well. So I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. And quickly, before Mr. Post gets upset with me, I want to make sure I say one more thing. We want to talk about breakfast. We are going to change what we do with breakfast going forward this next year. We currently have breakfast at the high school. We will now are looking at having breakfast at both Muncie Park and at Shelter Rock School. We have both our principals here actually in the audience. So we are looking at having breakfast at both of those schools. This breakfast will be served during the time that exists already. There will not be an additional length to the day. There will not be additional length to dropping students off or anything like that. Kids in the buildings are already staying in certain places to await the start of the day. And so we will have kids that want to have breakfast go to the cafeteria to get that breakfast. It'll work out. There will be certainly a cost to the district that we will have to bear. We are right now, because a lot of the free and reduced monies coming from the feds in terms, and the state in terms of covering lunch and some breakfast, we'll be able to offset some costs there. So Gerard has worked on a plan with that. We will have breakfast that will be, kids will walk through the line, grab what it is that they want that's being offered, and be able to eat in the cafeteria. And again, all within the constraint of the time that we have set aside already. We may need to do a little adjusting of staffing to make sure we clean in between before lunch starts, but we are happy to be able to move forward with this for our students who will be looking to partake in breakfast. So any questions on that?
So just to be clear, so for example, like at Muncie, doors open at 8:40. They can go in the cafeteria, grab what they need, and then classes.
Sit there and eat, and classes start at 9, right? 9, yep.
And similar at Shelter Rock, doors open at 8.
Based on their times.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, another clarifying question. The cost, there is a cost to the student who would like breakfast, correct?
So there is a cost to students for breakfast. Free and reduced would get free or reduced. And then if you're not free or reduced, there is a charge. Is it $2.50? Is that what they pay? $2.50 for breakfast. Okay. Thank you. That concludes my report, sir.
All right, great. Moving right along, next item is our district-wide safety plan, which we're required to present. I'm sorry? Oh, student delegate report. Oh, I missed it. How could I? Catherine, please.
Hi, everybody. First, I would like to say thank you so much for the incredible gifts. I really appreciate it. Then my report, the Student Senate has recently concluded our elections, and we have appointed our new president, Lucas Pai, and the person who will be replacing me will be Nathaniel Siebert. I'm sure you guys will love him, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys have a great year with him next year. Lastly, thank you all for everything. It has truly been an honor to sit here with you all and come to these meetings and learn so much about our building and just get to know each and every one of you. You are an incredible administration, and I'm so grateful to have had this opportunity. So thank you for everything this year.
Yeah, well done, and big shoes to fill for sure, based on all of your thoughtful comments and hard work. And I don't know how you do it all, but you do, and you make it look easy. So well done, and certainly good luck. What's that? I know. And I saw her playing instruments and doing all sorts of things. And yeah, so it's really incredible, and so happy for you on your accomplishments. So well done. All right, so now we will move on to our district-wide safety plan, which we're required to present every year. Who has the con for that?
I will, sir. Thank you. The district-wide safety plan has been placed on the website for public comment. If anyone wants to make public comment on the safety plan, obviously we do not sit and go through every aspect of the district-wide safety plan. But this is a moment if there are any questions from the Board of Education. Obviously, it is updated each year, gets reviewed, accepted, and posted to the website. Nicole, am I missing anything? The district-wide safety team works on this plan. Is that correct? Gerard, you're a piece of that? Yeah. And that's how the plan is created. We have a safety coordinator that works with us from BOCES. We have covert security that works with us on the plans. They work on it in the schools with our administration and our staff as well.
All right, any other questions from the board?
Are there any notable changes that were updated to the plan from last year?
I will say that we are adding license plate readers to the two schools, but the two elementary schools. But as far as any particular overarching larger changes, there were none.
I mean, I think what happened was the Department of Homeland Security came in and gave us recommendations 2 years ago, which we've implemented with our gate. We've obviously added security personnel. The barriers, we've improved our camera systems. I mean, this is like a huge part of what we're doing, and it's critical. So I just want to make sure that we maintain our focus on that area, which I know we are. All right. All right, great. So with no comment, all right, we'll move on to our fund balance update and reserve review. So we'll let Gerard take the mic with that.
I took those from Trustee Post, President Post, before he even said it, and I made it very brief. So pretty much this is similar to what I presented in February at the February board meeting. It's probably increased by about $250,000, but we have a revenue budget. Our revenues equal expenses, and so the current year's budget is $115,043,231, and based on everything that I'm projecting, will be about $673,000 above that. So that's additional revenue that we anticipate from that for this year's budget, primarily due to the rebates that we received for solar. So that helped a lot to give us additional revenue. So that's the revenue side of the equation. And then on the expenditure side, it's very tight. I mean, this is a very tight budget, kind of really tight. So what I'm anticipating is that we will underrun our expenses by about $579,000, primarily due to health insurance, primarily due to the benefit side of the expenses. So those numbers are coming in a little bit lower. So that's the bulk of the savings, the benefit side. You add the two together, $1.2 million in surplus fund balance for the 25-26 school year.
All right, so obviously, I mean, that looks like a big number, but not against $115 million budget. It's less than 1%. And it's, that theme has been true for us for a long time. And it's, it's something we're going to potentially have to address, but well done, Gerard, managing a very tight budget and sort of an uncertain cost environment for us in many ways. So.
Any other questions? How about reserve review? Gerard, you have that?
Let's see, make sure this is on. I always mess this up. Okay, so this is on the, this is actually from the property tax report cards, the property tax report card that we submitted. This lists all of our reserves. So we have a capital reserve. The capital reserve has about has a little bit less than $7 million in it that we began the year with. And when we estimate where it will be at the end of the year, which includes interest earned, will be about $7.4 million. We'd like to thank the community because the community did approve a proposition to expend from the capital reserve. So I just want to thank the community for that. We have a repair reserve. Our repair reserve started out at about $370,000 when we began the school year. We already used, the board approved some expenses from the repair reserve, gas, some fixes to the gas lines at the high school. That brought it down to about $140,000. Then estimating some additional interest and some underruns, about $218,000 we estimate that repair reserve will be at the end of the year. And then lastly, we have a teacher's retirement reserve. The teacher's retirement reserve is used to offset the expense that the district spends on the retirement system for teachers. Started the year out at $812,000. Interest that we will receive by June 30th should be approximately $858,000. And those are the three reserves that we have in Manhasset.
Any other comments? I mean, it sort of is what it is in some sense, and we are, you know, if you look at us relative to other districts, we are relatively low, and it's in one sense, it's a concern. In another sense, taxpayers and community members should feel good. We're not holding your money unduly here, and we're not certainly spending it irresponsibly, but it's something to obviously keep our eye on as we go forward.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
you.
And we welcome any public comment on our fund balance or reserve. Yes, sure. Please just come up to the mic and introduce yourself. And just hold your comments to 3 minutes if you could.
Yeah. Good evening. My name is Dan Xie. I have one kid going to 10th grade. Another one just graduated from Chapel Rock. Yeah. So first, I would like to thank Ted for his service for the past 3 years. Thank you so much. Second, I want to begin by congratulating everyone on the passage of the 2026-27 school budget, and to thank the board and the administration for their work throughout the process. The daily budget emails from Dr. Pelletieri were especially helpful in explaining both the budget and the achievements of our district. Many of us chose to live in Manhasset because of its schools. Our district's reputation did not happen by accident. It is the result of decades of thoughtful decisions by board members, administrators, teachers, staff, and residents who believed our schools were worth investing in. As I reviewed this year's budget, however, I noticed a trend that deserves our attention. Adjusted for inflation, per student spending has declined by about 11% since 2020, and is projected to decline for another 4% next year. Among Nassau County's 41 school districts, Manhasset has dropped from 13th place to 31st in per student spending since 2020, while many neighboring high-performing districts have remained relatively stable within the top 10 to 20. Just for reference, Jericho has very similar school size as us. Our budget for next year will be close to 120 million, while Jericho is shooting up to 150 million, which is 25% difference. Great schools are built by great people, maintaining excellent programs, ultimately depending on attracting and retaining outstanding teachers and staff. That becomes increasingly difficult when nearby districts can offer more competitive compensations. Programs rarely decline overnight. Instead, they gradually lose experienced educators, become harder to staff, and over time become more difficult to sustain at the same level of excellence. Some teachers and parents have expressed concern that maintaining the quality of these programs is becoming more and more challenging. I believe those concerns deserve careful attention. When I first started looking at the budget, I had the same instinct many homeowners have. That tax should be kept as low as possible, and that organizations can usually operate a little more efficiently. But after studying the numbers, I realized the choices are more constrained than I had assumed. Roughly 7 out of every $10 in our budget go towards the people who educate and support our students. We should continue looking for efficiencies and allocate resources wisely. But that conversation is different from the question of whether we are investing enough to preserve the educational excellence that previous generations built. In my view, that is the conversation we are now facing. Our children will live with the consequences of the decisions we make today. I encourage the board and administration to develop a long-term financial strategy that preserves the strength of our schools and ensures Manhasset remains competitive in attracting and retaining exceptional educators. The best time to invest in great school districts is before its excellence begins to erode. Once it's gone, rebuilding it is far more difficult and far more expensive. Thank you.
Thank you for those thoughtful comments. And the best time to plant a tree is 25 years ago. The next best time is today. So it is true. And thank you for your thoughtful comments. And it is probably the most important question for us as we go forward, or certainly among them. So, all right, next on our list here is our shared decision-making team report. To Dr. Chowsky.
Thank you so much. I am very excited to share in the most concise and smart way the work that our—
Don't go crazy. We want to hear from you. So thank you.
Right, our decision-making committee reports for this year. So part of this is because this is required by state, by New York State mandates here. We have an opportunity to share the building and district shared decision-making work for 25-26. The New York State Department of Education requires that shared decision-making ensures parent, teacher, administrator, and in our case, which is not required, Manhasset's student voice at the high school level. Why shared decision-making? New York State regulations position shared decision-making as a primarily an opportunity to improve student educational performance through collaboration with all stakeholders. So these are some of the issues subject to shared decision-making: improvement of student performance, emotional and physical well-being of students, advancement of learning, and issues impacting all members of the school community. You're going to see many of those tonight. So quickly on this piece is we all have roles and responsibilities which are mapped out by the state within that. And in September, we met as a large group and we had the training which was provided by me to get us all ready for this work. At this time, I would like to invite my colleague, Dr. Rich Roeder, to speak about the secondary school.
Well, thank you, Dr. Chowsky. And good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me. So we had a very thoughtful team this year, and I really appreciated that everybody had a voice, including our students, MESPA members, MEA, and our administrators and our students really were the spotlight, had a great voice. And I really want to thank Ms. Crocco too, who did a wonderful job chairing all of our meetings. So we focused on the student school experience. And what we talked about often in our group was that oftentimes in education, adults are making all the decisions, and it's important to hear from the students in order to create plans that make positive impact on buildings. So we landed on developing a student school experience survey for grades 7 through 12. And it took us some time to carefully develop the questions. But the purpose of this anonymous survey was to learn more about the students' stressors in their school experience. Things from their classroom. Are they overscheduled after school? And we were hoping to use this data to guide our decision-making for years to come. So every year we don't have to worry or be concerned about do we have any data on this? We have plenty of data here to dig into. We haven't released it to the public yet because oftentimes when you release data, people are expecting immediate action on every single question. But I can tell you that with nearly 700 students that responded, one of the items that stuck out for our group was that 63% of the middle school students that participated, which were 170 of those, they cited that number of tests in one day was a major stressor for them. And I know in the elementary schools, the transition from 6th to 7th grade, see what I did there, Dr. P? I've heard from many parents that that's one of their major concerns is multiple tests in one day. I've also heard it from current 8th grade students. So this really organically kind of landed in a place that's really going to help students with not only the transition, but those kind of middle average students that are struggling taking on so many different tests at once. So here's what we came up with. We are going to pilot a testing schedule for middle school classes only. This excludes region-sparing classes. So it's only middle school, pure middle school classes. We're implementing a 6-day testing schedule to reduce the number of full period exams only. This doesn't count for quizzes or projects, just full period exams. So basically each subject area is going to get a number 1 through 6. Day 6 will be a non-testing day, will be a conflict day, kind of an opportunity for everybody to breathe. And we're hoping that after we ran this through multiple models with student schedules that we currently have, there would be no more than 2 full period exams for a student in any day. So this could be a significant change. And we're hoping that it's a good one. You're probably thinking, well, how are we going to know it works? We're planning on sending out a survey to our middle schoolers at the end of the year to measure its impact. I've spoken to our directors and coordinators and asked them to continue to closely monitor the odd and even day testing schedule for our remainder of our courses that are across middle school and our high school. And I think one of the organic things that came out of here that we were really excited about was we started talking more about assessment and what that looks like in all of our classrooms. And I really want to thank our teachers for their feedback, our directors and coordinators that helped along the way, and our shared decision-making team, because I really feel as a team, we have created something that's going to have a positive impact on our youngest learners. Next year, we are focusing on high school, and we're hoping to take that school experience survey. Our goal is to invite more wellness team members to join our team to inform our approach of how we're improving and enhancing the student well-being, specifically with our high school students. So that is my report. I'm happy to take any questions. I'm really excited about the work that we did and very thankful.
And I mean, that ties in nice with what you were bringing up this year for us, Catherine, about, the mental health of our kids. And we want to challenge them academically, but we also want to make sure they come out as happy, well-adjusted, kids as well. So I think this is a great step.
Yeah, and there was a lot of points of pride. 2 things that was really dear to my heart from that survey was that 88% of those surveyed students felt like they belonged in our school, which I think is absolutely remarkable. Also that they had almost 90% said that they felt that they had a trusted adult in the building. And that's what we always aim for. We still have a little work there to do, right? I'm not forgetting about the 10 and the 12%, but really outstanding. So I'll keep you informed of our work.
Dr. Rhoda, thank you so much. And so Brian, you're exactly right. That was Catherine's comment to us and the concern that we all had that evening before we even left to talk about what are we going to do about this and bring it to. So when I brought in Dr. Rhoda and we immediately jumped in with the shared decision-making team, and I'm really proud of the work that they did and how they arrived at this. And this pilot, I think I really want to see what the data looks like on this and see if we can't move that forward, perhaps potentially at some point to the high school.
Yeah, and we really wanted our students to know that we're listening.
That was actually, so really quick, from the pilot, I guess, what's the reservation to not try to apply that in the high school? I'm just curious, like what would be kind of,
It would just be a change in practice. It would be something different. You know, I wanted to ensure that something that we could replicate, show that it works before we make any quick decisions. You know, it's interesting because another interesting little tidbit, we're going to be into this survey completely by the time I'm done here. We talked about academic rigor, and 75% of those that were surveyed said that the rigor in their classes is appropriate. So really they're welcoming these challenges and, you know, and at times okay with dealing with high demands in the classroom. So that was very interesting.
and how are we sharing with the students? I really think, I don't know, Catherine, it's important to say, we heard you. I really would like a pathway for that. I don't know, are there any thoughts on how are you guys going to share this with the students?
So I did attend the most recent Student Senate meeting, and I previewed that I would be speaking about this and that this was one of the items that the students were concerned about. And I will continue to do that. So they know that I'm an advocate for them, as is our team and our coordinators and directors and all of our staff. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, so very good outcome on this specific topic, but also I just think, you know, we spend a lot of time celebrating all the great things, but let's spend the time on identifying the weak links and communicate, get the people in the room, and then execute on solutions. I mean, that really is the nature of the beast. Yeah, that is what, and we shouldn't be embarrassed, or if we identify something, let's work on it and be honest about how to fix it. So that's fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Roeder.
My pleasure. Now invite
Thank you,
Dr. Altman from Muncie Park.
Great.
Thank you, Dr. Roeder. Good evening, Board of Education. Thank you for this opportunity. So just a year ago, we were handing out some cookies as part of our shared decision-making work, right? The student council at that time was really working on their voice and identified some entry point to say, listen, we need some healthy cookie options at Muncie Park. We hear they have them at the middle school. And they really worked well to figure out some nut-free, healthy alternative that met the state requirements to allow to have cookies in elementary school. Fast forward a year, our shared decision-making continued with the same topic, but a little bit more expansive. So it's still that idea of promoting student voice. In fact, I love the connection to the secondary school where we survey the students, collect their voice, because what we keep realizing is the students often have the answers, right? So the shared decision-making team, while a new set of parents this year, we're really thankful for Jackie Renton last year and Ted Liu. We moved on with our SCA to Mrs. McGuire, and we had a really nice discussion, keeping it going of how do we figure out ways and entry points to, yes, focus on student council and recognize that there's a voice there, right? They're the elected officials of their peers, but we have a school full of many other children that have not been elected by their peers who have a voice as well. And so what you're starting to see is really an increased focus on students presenting. If you've been to any end of the year activities at our schools, definitely in Muncie, you're going to see students introducing every single academic topic. I was in, just to name a few, but McCartan and Lockman's wonderful third grade class, the children led it, right? So you have them going around introducing every aspect of their work. You'll see it in concerts. You'll see it in performances. The graduation was off the charts. I mean, the sixth graders presented so well that you see like a mic accidentally gets dropped over and she just kept going. You know, the poise, that's really important. And I think I share this a lot. It's one thing to be sophisticated. It's one thing to be really independently intelligent, but it's a whole nother to apply those skills to work in a group, to develop consensus, to recognize that your voice is not the only one in the room. And sometimes it's better just to listen. And I think what we're seeing in Muncie Park is just this full focus on recognizing that the teacher is the facilitator of a lot of station work and a lot of group activities. Even something down to Ms. Viscovich's robots today. We're watching some presentations as they prepare to utilize robots. It's groups. It's recognizing that you have peers that may have some skill sets that aren't just, one size fits all. And I think we're seeing a lot of emphasis just on having student voice. And so I'd love to hear that we're now collecting that voice at the secondary school. Next year, just to add a little bit of next year's thought, we love Spirit Days, right? So Spirit Wear, celebrating our blue and orange, Go Set. What we've recognized at Muncie is we don't necessarily have a focus around a mascot or a slogan. And while that has not in any way held us back from celebrating Spirit, there's a thought that perhaps we're going to start surveying and identify from classes and from students, do we want to start considering a unified slogan? Do we want to start considering a unified mascot? If anyone knows, we are the Tigers. We share that with Shelter Rock. We're the Tigers, and we're proud to be the Tigers. But if you ask the average student, they may not know that. And the wondering is it time to consider revitalizing, right? It's just always a thought. So shared decision-making is one of those bodies that we're going to just keep kind of keeping that pedal to the metal of what more can we do to enhance and really celebrate the fact that there's so many good things, but let's keep the student voice going strong, the celebrating of the group work, getting children to learn with each other and their peers, and then focusing on how do we really enhance that spirit all around the school. Even though it's great, let's keep pushing that bar. So thank you for this opportunity, and I'll happily answer any questions.
Shelter Rock's got a great song, and Muncie doesn't have a song.
They do. I love this song. I think I love this song. When I first became principal, I recall somebody saying we lost our song. So I think it's true. It may be part of what we're considering is, do we even go that direction? Say, hey, Dr. Owens, let's work with the team and consider the possibility of even a song. So yes, thank you for that. Yes. Yes. All right. Thank you. I'd love to turn it over to Ms. Zimmer, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, everyone. So excited to be here tonight. It's been a very, very exciting day. So our shared decision-making committee, I think, has recognized, as an educator for 31 years, just finishing 31 years, school communities are organic. And as the students change, as the families change, it's important to just continually to check in to see who your school community is to make sure that you're serving them. So you're going to hear that theme. And actually, it's very exciting to see that a lot of the work that we're doing is actually mirroring the secondary school. And a lot of the same student voice opportunities have the same results, which is very, very interesting. So this year we worked on recess enhancements. We heard from our parents and from our students that we needed to do a little better with recess. We needed to increase our recess time, so we changed some procedures that were taking some time. Ms. Falchetti came up with the Golden Tray Award for behavior, and students got to spin a wheel and win prizes, and that helped students to line up and clean up better, which ended up with more recess time. We were able to survey the students. You'll hear survey a lot this evening. We surveyed the students to ask them, what are you interested in doing during indoor recess? Because no one likes indoor recess. So we were able to partner with the SEA to get bins based on the student survey results so that they had the activities they wanted. And we were able to add the gyms as an option for indoor recess. We were able to do some changes in our scheduling to do that. We continue to grow our community gatherings. This year, we focused differently for grades 5 and 6. We took this really wonderful tradition that we have now at our school. And in 5th and 6th grade, we really focused on team building. We did a lot of work with the students on the adolescent brain. It's interesting when you teach them that when they're making fun of someone and someone laughs, it's a dopamine hit. They really actually understand that. It actually supports positive behavior. So we did team building, we wrote a charter, and then we worked on bringing in guest speakers because we find that the older students really want to hear from other people. We collaborated with the police, we collaborated with Northwell, we had some speakers. And in grades K to 4, we did some work with executive functioning skills. So Ms. Falchetti and I introduced some skills, and then there were follow-up activities for the classroom. We really wanted to look at parent engagement opportunities, and I'm super proud to say now every single grade not only has a capstone activity, but a community building party after. So we have the auditorium to the cafeteria reception, and the families are really enjoying seeing their neighbors. And we also started building on the work that we did with the ice cream social, just like Muncie Park. We created a welcome folder for families who join us during the middle of the year because they don't get an ice cream social. And we started, as soon as I started it, we got less new students, but hopefully next year, if we have them during the middle of the year, their first day, they're invited to come in with their families to have a tour. The same way we would do an ice cream social for the children at the beginning of the year, we now do that in the middle of the year whenever they join us. And they get all the information because we were finding they weren't getting the same things that we handed out at the beginning of the year. And then we went to our students. I did 2 different kinds of listening tours this year. First, we focused on belonging. I asked the students all 4 questions. What makes you special? Who at Shelter Rock knows this about you? Where in our school do you feel the most comfortable, included, and celebrated? And is there any way that I, as your principal, can help you to feel more comfortable, included, or celebrated? It was amazing to see that the vast majority of our students were able to find that one trusted adult, just like Rich was sharing. They were able to name something that made them special. And if they couldn't answer those questions, we were able to follow up with them. And the vast majority of the students reported positive experiences, but the few that didn't, we were able to address them immediately. I've gotten very good at, even though they're anonymous in 5th and 6th grade, watching who's writing, and we were able to follow up with every student that expressed a problem. And then to get a little bit more intimate with students, we tried out, which is incredibly popular, so we're going to continue it next year, lunch with the principal. I met with grades 3 and 4, any volunteers, and I asked them 3 questions. The first was, how do you feel about coming into Shelter Rock? They used words like helpful, useful, funny, protected was my favorite, happy, creative. But the hardest part about coming to Shelter Rock is the test days, and they were nervous about tests. And that's just so incredibly amazing that our data is aligning. Their favorite part about coming to Shelter Rock is friends and learning. They love the learning that's going on in the classroom. And overall, the hardest things are tests, being away from their families were the things that they shared. So we're going to continue to look at that. But as we move to next year, as you heard, there's a lot of, we've done a lot of work with our community gatherings. We're going to continue to grow those organically, get our wellness team involved in helping us get our teachers more involved in helping us choose topics, capitalize on our GLC meetings and our collaboration with SEA to continue to grow those. We're going to look at student experience with a focus on academics. Which things do they feel are hard? Which things do they enjoy the most? How do we help them feel happy and engaged with all of their subjects? And we've done a lot of hiring at Shelter Rock. We've unfortunately had a lot of retirements, but that also brings us new staff members. And a lot of the work we've been doing is with parents and children, which of course are the cornerstone of our school, but we're also going to work with our staff members now that we have so many new staff members to really strengthen the relationships among them and our school. And we want to continue the work that Dr. Roeder did with the Shelter Rock Strong and continue that our organic brand with our organic community. And we're going to do some work like that, like Muncie Park is going to be doing. So that's our goals for next year. Any questions?
Any questions? I think that was a complete report. Thank you.
District on this.
Oh, the district shared. Oh, yeah, okay.
Decision making.
Great.
Thank you. I just wanted to point out one of the things that, first of all, it's an absolute pleasure to work with the 3. I'm very grateful for the administrative team. But what you kept hearing over and over and over again was about voice, right? About acknowledgement and honoring voice. And I think those are powerful pieces that we've been working on as a district in terms of communication as well. So last year, what we focused on was building sustainable systems on the district level to ensure all members of our community feel seen, heard, and valued. This year, we continued with that work, and our goal was, and this is a thank you to Mr. Sal Pergola, who said we need to shower the district with positivity. So our intent was to work on surfacing points of pride that may not be visible to people and colleagues around. So some really cool things happened. You'll notice on the superintendent's newsletter, we have the applauding our educators component where we're pointing out the excellence that's happening and how people are expanding their experience with that. I really want to thank the Good Morning Manhasset crew. We went over and spoke with them and said, how about doing a behind the scenes segment? And so they were doing things like interviewing chef right? Talking to our grounds crew, talking to security and all of that. It's really important to see the people that are maybe not visible, but are the backbone of the district. And it was respectful and loving and exactly what we wanted. Also, I just want to thank, district and buildings have celebrated the principals, the assistant principals, grounds crews, administrative professionals, librarians. I love that every day there is an acknowledgement of people. That's one of the things that is really on fire here, which is wonderful. So next year, we're taking that to the next level. We're talking to people and asking them, how are you defining excellence within that? And what does that mean in 26, 27 within our district? And then from there, we'll take that information and build an action plan for our district as we go forward. Okay? Any questions on that piece? Thank you so much, everyone. Really appreciate you.
Thank you very much. It is a team sport for sure. Thank you. Yes, please go home to your families and run through the finish line the last week. All right, so we are on to another important topic here, the elementary report card, which has been a work in progress and there's been, I think, a lot of debate, which we'd love to hear about. So Dr. Chesky.
So it's happening. James is going to bring up some slides for this piece. Let me get my right notes out. Sorry about that. Okay. So elementary report card, one of the things, and this is, I want to emphasize, this was a teacher-led in terms of the initiative within this, is the discussion was in kindergarten and grade 6, we wanted to make sure that all of our report cards were aligned to New York State learning standards because they've changed. It was designed with collaboration with teachers, administrators, and families. We started this, Lauren Tallerini, I'm sorry she left, and I started this as a subcommittee in 2020. And then COVID hit and things got a little crazy for a while, but it was revived last year. And this is something that is incredibly important. So why were we updating the report card? The goals were and are to provide clear communication about student progress with homeschool connection, again, aligned to the learning standards. And this is really important because we work really hard at this, create consistency across grades and buildings on not only how we're doing assessment and otherwise, so it's surfaced information to assist with that, but also to make sure that within grade levels we're consistent as well. It's reflecting both academic growth and readiness for learning, which I'll talk about more in a minute. It offers multiple measures for student performance in a structured manner. And again, the key message here is that its report card is communicating progress towards grade level standards. It's not meant to compare to other students. It's about how does Rebecca go to school in 6th grade and then grow as a 6th grader. So what makes this different? We are focusing on the evaluating skills and also knowledge, but it is absolutely growth mindset, which is wonderful. There's a focus on the whole child, and I need to stop a second and say thank you to all the teachers who worked so hard, who came up here and gave up days, worked as teams, faculty meetings, parent groups. This was long, this was thorough. Teachers were really clear. There were multiple iterations, and it was absolutely worth the work. So the other piece on here, in terms of focusing on the whole child, we had feedback from parent groups such as the SEA, PACE, and our teachers, and they were saying, where are you putting in organization? Where are you putting in independence? Where are you putting in persistence, et cetera, within that piece? We also straightened out the academic ratings, so it is very clear and across the board in terms of 4 and 1. There will not be a 5 for grade 6 anymore. 3, and this is really important for the public and we'll be doing this work, 3 means that you're successful. You've met grade level standards. Readiness for learning on this one is that it's not necessarily what you know, but how you approach your learning that shows that whether you're successful or not. So things like completing work, following routines, working independently, we have built that in for students. And you'll notice, and teachers worked very hard at this, is that it is not a 1 through 4. It is, we're doing it consistently most of the time. We need a little more work, or we're not there yet. Okay? And it's a little, you'll see for K1, it's much gentler. So this for me is a big deal, is that we broke it down for each one of the indicators for the major areas. We broke it down in terms of what formal assessments are we using for ELA, math, et cetera, what performance tasks, informal assessment, class discussions, et cetera, within that, and digital tools. Because maybe I'm really good at writing, but you're great at presenting, and presenting is not my thing. So we need to balance it out so we are able to surface how different students learn. Parents requested an update to the comment bank. I ran the data on this, and it turned out that it was almost 90% of it was not something that it was measurable, and most of them were not aligned to standards. They needed to change. So what did we do? We broke it down in terms of those subgroups within that, and then we were also making sure that it's clear, consistent, and I kept asking the question to the teachers, how do you show that? What does it look like? How do we know? Okay, here are some examples in terms of those comments. You'll notice that in terms of growth, right? Working towards. So we also met in March. We had the grade level chairs came, and we used the same structure that we did with the teachers when they came up and did the actual drafting. We had 2 representatives. We had the grade level representatives from each building sit together, and they worked through this with the leadership in elementary SEA. And this is the strong feedback that people, beyond their commentary, asked in addition, which is great actionable data. Good. Okay. All right. So what are we doing now? We can't just hand this to people. It's actually at BOCES being formatted right now. You'll get a copy of that when that comes, and we'll make it public. But these are the things that we're working on to support people, and teachers and parents have requested. So I've developed a handbook. There's a definition of key terms, an explanation of ratings. It'll all be public within that. People requested reading level information so they understood if they're on grade level or not. Examples of grade level expectations so they know what students need to be writing at or what level. Additionally, what we're going to be doing is offering open house presentations. The teachers felt that was most accessible, as did the SEA, is that the night of open house will have side and apart. The people could come a little early. There will be online resources and then FAQs as well. I was told they have to be concise. And then the other piece is that people requested early communication regarding concerns. That was a thread that went through all of our conversations with faculty, and they're very aware that this is important. And then, of course, more clarity in terms of student progress. So the last thing that we want to say, and we promise to the faculty, is this is a living document. It's not going to be perfect next year. We're going to take feedback. We're going to work through it. There will be adjustments in logical places within that will be communicated to the public clearly within that. But I really appreciate, and I cannot emphasize enough, how amazing the teachers were, how hard they pushed to make this right, and how much I really appreciate also the administration on the building level. So thank you.
Rebecca, I want to thank you for leading all that work and bringing that all together and bringing it to fruition. That was not an easy task, and I know a lot of people had a lot to do with it, but I appreciate your leadership in that regard as well. So thank you.
So I actually have a question. I think it's really helpful to see how you're going to communicate to the community, to the parents. As far as the other teachers and staff, kind of, one thing that I've observed, and it's just anytime you come up with a qualitative, like the buckets, is there some type of guidance, rubric, examples for that consistency across staff and teachers? Because I think that is the trickier part. And I think that rolling this out is a great way to reimagine and maybe rebalance that thinking. So I think it's a great time to so any thoughts on that in terms of that consistency across teachers, essentially?
So thank you. Actually, our focus is going to be immediately on grade level work, is that we know we're going to have calibration meetings with them. We'll be working on that during faculty meetings as well. And then lastly, we're dedicating our superintendent's conference day. The elementary portion is going to be all about this.
That's great. The calibration information is going to be critical too. Thank you.
Chowski, thank you. I echo Dr. Pelletieri's thoughts that this has clearly been a very thoughtful process from a lot of input, over the course of not only this year, but even back towards COVID. I have a very small, maybe nitpicky point. It was the slide on readiness for learning, and the bucket for K1 was most of the time, some of the time, maybe 2 through 6, it starts with a C, a D, and an N, and maybe if the parents aren't fully educated on that, they might be taken aback at first. Maybe there's a slightly different key we would use instead of those, particular letters.
Sure, we can certainly take that feedback, and all of these things as well, in terms of the key, will be on the report card too, to make sure that it's nice and clear. But thank you for that feedback.
Thank you, Dr. Chowski, and to all of our teachers and staff and administrators that help with this. And this is also a larger step in helping the transition overall for our students when they're transitioning over to the middle school. So that's been a big hiccup. My question, and I don't know if this has been thought through or nailed yet, or what some thoughts were, but what approach would be in terms of delivering the feedback in terms of where students are. So in the middle school and high school, there's like a progress report, and we have the Canvas that's used now.
So thank you for that. That is a work in progress, because that is a cultural change within that. Some of the steps that we've taken later on this summer, one of the things we're going to be doing is we've simultaneously been updating the RTI, the response to intervention, as well. So one of the things, and I want to thank Dr. Dinda and Laura Peterson for this as that assistance, is that we are going to be having, not only we've committed to having the report card plus any academic intervention updates, progress reports for math and reading at the same time. So that's one thing. The other piece in terms of your communication with that to parents is we are talking about, we've underscored the notion of no surprises, okay? That it's not fair. And that also when people are silent, we don't know we just don't know as parents. So your point is well taken, and we will be doing more on that.
All right, anything further? All right, thank you very much for that. All right, our next section is policy review.
Yep. Thanks, President Post. There are a couple of minor changes and definitions. I'm going to call out what they are for a first and final reading. The first one, just to call you a little out of order, I'll address 1900 first, which is parental involvement. It was a change in an edited policy on a numeric. So there is no longer 19E1. This policy was replaced with policy 1900E. So that is the only change. There's nothing substantive. And so they ask as a first and final, and then I'll go through the next one, and then maybe we'll take a motion on all of them together. The next one to call your attention to as a first and final reading is 5300.1, and that was to be consistent with changes to student ages from 21 to 22 to align with the recently updated New York State education guidelines. And so you'll see that that is also another, I guess, if you would, grammatical change and not a substantive change. The next one is a first reading, so this will come back. And two sections of the policy of 5300.65 for visitors to the school. And this was also to bring the policy up to date with current processes and procedures related to scholarship. So section 2, 1A, updated the secondary school district office visitor sign-in process. So information was added in on presentation of identification, so driver's license, passport, state-issued non-driver's license. They will also be required to sign in and be issued a visitor pass and sign out when departing. So some of those changes were made to also align that now we have the electronic scholarship system in the lobby rather. And so that information was updated. In addition to section 2B, updates on some of our committees. So as the board is aware, we no longer have CASA, so that information was removed. And the information on PACE was added, Parent Association for Special Education PACE. Let's see. And then the third section is visitors will no longer be required to leave their photo IDs at the security checkpoints, and they'll be issued a photo visitor's pass instead. So that language was also updated to reflect the current standard practices in the building. And so those are the highlighted red lines, recognizing that this is a first reading and it will come back to the board. So do I have a motion to approve the current recommendations for first and final reading on those two policies and the first reading on the visitors to schools? And then do I have a second? All in favor? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mariana. All right, so let's go through our board discussion and committee reports. I know we're sort of towards the end of the year here. Finance Committee, I don't think we met briefly, but not this last month, so nothing new to report. Mac, anything noteworthy? All right, Leah, let's do audit. Oh, did I miss audit on the bottom of the page? Yes, audit.
So the audit committee met for its last meeting of the year on June 10th. We had a pretty packed agenda. We reviewed the claims reports and the errors continue to decline each month in the reports. We discussed a new policy Gerard and his team are putting in to track down old invoices and the process you guys are putting in place on POs going forward with the letter to the staff. We discussed what the scope are. We're going to prioritize the scope of the internal audit for the next year, and we had some ideas, but we will be finalizing that at the October meeting. And we talked about dates for next year. So it was a really nice way to close out the year for the audit committee.
Thank you, Allison. All right, and then we'll bounce back to Mac.
MAC has an annual report that they provided me with. I'm just going to briefly just hit some key points of the major initiative this year was the secondary school athletic hallway, which is underway. We have approval, we have the funding, and we're asking additional funding from anybody who is interested from the community as well to reach out to me. Also, we did the athletic placement process, APP, and middle school promotion. The fundraising and the Go account guidelines they initiated for each of the sports, crew program and oversight and district liability. They discussed that as well. Off-season and summer workouts, operational and sports program developments, committee administration and leadership transitions. We have several members who are now, I guess they aged out or their children have moved on. So we have a few new spots coming on, and we have the new member, Sam DeVore, who will be taking over as the head of the MAC committee. So we're very excited for the new year.
All right. Well done to the MAC committee. All right, SCA.
There's nothing to report.
report. Went to a nice luncheon.
Frolic is, oh, well, the Frolic is, yeah, it's run through the SEA, but it's really a parent organization.
Tower, obviously, we received that phenomenal gift. Anything else?
I just wanted to thank Tower again.
Great. Pace. All right, great awards, and I think a really productive year for Pace. And then EOC, I don't believe, did we have a meeting? Yeah. Oh, great.
We had our last meeting a couple weeks ago as well. We had some exciting news. There's a partnership with Malloy University that they had just met and had some discussions with about lots of support programs and lots of creative ways that the Malloy team wants to get involved with the EOC. So that was exciting news. And I think the bulk of that meeting, our last meeting, was focused on the shift to the summer programs for the folks at the EOC. So Ms. Tallerine and Mr. McGowan were there talking about extra math and reading programs for the kids over the summer. We got a final update on the Bridge program and maybe some changes for the year ahead to keep attendance up. And I think those are the main highlights from that meeting.
All right, great. Thank you very much for all of your work.
Yep. Just one more update. I think we'll add this moving forward as a board. I just want to also acknowledge the Chamber of Commerce. They had their al fresco, and the reason I wanted to share that is a lot of our students actually go and volunteer and support. And so that occurred on June 7th, and it was a huge success. It was really nice to see the community. And I encourage everyone, the next one is July 12th, 4:30 to 8. That'll be the north side of Plandome. And so it's a good way for the community to come out and support all of our restaurants and shops on Plandome. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right, so let's keep going. Our next item of business is our personnel schedule. So obviously this time of year, we have a very full personnel schedule to be approved. Thank you very much, Dina, for putting this all together. So we obviously have a lot of summer work and appointments. We have some retirements, obviously. It's Ronai, which, we've acknowledged, but I think we should.
Yes,
it again.
yes, Ms. Ronai is retiring during this summer, at the end of this summer, and we thank her for her many years of service. And if I could just mention in terms of our hiring practices, we are losing some incredible people, which is unfortunate, but as mentioned tonight by Principal Zimmer, there's an opportunity for new folks coming in, and we are hiring some really outstanding folks. I'm very excited, Dina, by your office and the work they've done and all the administrators in terms of the hiring committees and observations and kids in classes sitting through presentations and demos. So I really appreciate all the diligence in that regard. I'm very excited about many of the people that we're bringing, all the people that we're bringing in.
Just a quick question, Dina, because I know to Ted's point, there were a lot of the summer stipends. Just remind us, that's for the already existing programs, right? That's not to support any new programs.
Or like our ESY program, our AIS programs that we're running.
Okay. So can I have a motion to approve our personnel schedule? Maria, second. Nadia, all in favor? 5-0. Spam caller wanted to check in there. All right, so we are 5-0 on the personnel agenda. All right, so let's move to our full consent agenda. This time of year, we obviously have a lot of contract renewals and other items of business, but you can see our Section 504 minutes, our special education services contracts, our receipt of federal Part B flow through allocations, Long Island Coalition Against Bullying. We have our cooperative special education related services, which you can see there are many service providers here. We have our out-of-district health and welfare services agreements. We have conference requests. We have our superintendent conference request up in Saratoga, which is not hard to take up in Saratoga, but we have our band and orchestra overnight trips. We have our approval of emergency response plans for Muncie Shelter and the secondary school, data security and privacy practices for school districts, agreement with scope for our summer enrichment programs, agreement with New York State School Board Association, which we do every year, approval of participation in BOCES competitive bid services, which we do every year. We have some change orders here. I guess this is related to construction and right. We have our architect's recommendation for the, athletic hallway. We have some disposal of our past ballots, which is something we do by the book. Excess technology equipment, we're accessing that. We're textbooks. And then, importantly, we have our TAN, our tax anticipation notes. This is something we do to finance the school as before we receive tax payments. Board of Education amends our meeting date. We're going to change one meeting date for the reorg meeting next or in the summer. And then we have our treasurer's report, claims report. Upcoming items of interest is really just that. So is our next reorg meeting. So that is it. Can I have any questions or comments? Yes, please.
Just one quick question. It's actually for Gerard, because I know this was a sort of pressure point that we were monitoring, our transportation contract. I know you didn't highlight it per se, but it's kind of, we're good. So I just wanted to see if there was any comment you wanted to make there. Kind of thank you for your work. I think we kind of landed in a good place. I know that was a topic for us for quite some time. So that was the main one, because I know we were tracking that quite a bit.
And I think it came in it came in better than we originally anticipated. It's still a significant increase, but we did work something out. We're going to get, there are some things that we're going to get in the contract to make sure that we are provided with the best service for next year. So that's the good thing that came out of it.
That's what I wanted to kind of check in on. Okay.
We're really going to make sure that we do everything that we can to fix some of the issues that we had during this school year.
Yeah, I was going to just jump on that real quick and just talk about how, yes, there are penalties within this contract. And I want to start the year by talking about penalties, but quite honestly, we did not get the service that we had contracted for in some areas, and there were some repeated offenses, and now we have some real teeth in there, to use that term, to make sure that we hold them accountable. And all we want is good service for our students. We don't want to have to bring people to the table and say, because of this, we're going to require this penalty, things like that. But if we have to, we will.
Is it possible to follow up with them about that software that they're piloting with, I think it was Manhasset? Or did they follow up with us from that meeting that we had?
So you were going to say something?
No, go ahead.
So yes, that's a good point. So we're looking into that, as well as our transportation director. He's looking into some other software that would help with routing. But we're going to review everything, and we'll bring it to the board so that way you could help us make a good decision. But they have something that they've been piloting. I don't think that it's ready yet. That's that I believe that's still like a year out. So, but we're looking into it.
Yeah, there are some options that we are going to bring to the board during this next year that talks about utilizing some technology, GPS and otherwise, so that we will know even sooner when there might be issues, if a bus is late or anything along those lines. So definitely, Dr. Giannopoulos, we are working in that direction.
Tablets or things that we're trying to look into. Yes.
All right, anything else on the consent agenda? All right, so I'll take a motion. Maria, first, Mariana, second. All in favor? All right, 5-0. So we have an approved consent agenda. Thank you. Any other comments from the public? No. All right, and then I'll just make one closing remark, if I may. No, it's unscheduled on the agenda.
Yeah, Mr. Post, I have something as well. So do you want to go? Let me go first.
Okay, okay.
Because I just want to say, as we know, this is President Post's final official act today as, well, there's still a few more days he's going to be president, but final meeting, I'll say. But I want to thank him for his level-headedness, his diligence, his thoughtfulness, his perspective that he brought, his sense of equity and fairness and thinking about every child every day, which I truly appreciate. We spoke many Saturdays, many late nights texting back and forth, and had a great many important conversations and pleasant conversations around what's best for this district. And you really represented that, Ted. I truly we could not have had the year we had, or the several years, even prior to my arrival, that we've had without your strength, your leadership, your disposition. I could go on and on. We're going to miss you without a doubt from this board. We're going to welcome Ms. Rizzo, certainly, but big shoes to fill. And thank you again for all you've done for this community.
Thank you for that. That's too much, but very, very, very much
We
appreciated.
do have a little item here, a gift from, again, everyone here, and a certificate. So this is a certificate of appreciation for Ted Post, signed by all of us.
Wow,
on the
everyone
board.
signed this too.
Yes,
Amazing.
yes.
That's official.
It was hard for me to get everyone to sign that. And a small gift as well. Yes, please.
All right. Wow. Oh, look at this swag.
I don't even have one of those.
This is, what would the kids call this? Like something swag? Yeah, very, very cool. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Fit.
It's a card you can open later.
Oh, yes, I will open it. So, well, that's very nice. And yes, it has been a pleasure. I couldn't be more proud of this district and to be associated with it. We've come a long way from the first days, Nadia, and I'm certainly proud of this team. I mean, the board will be in excellent hands, and I couldn't be happier how, we came together, and we did this with a lot of new people. So obviously, a lot of talented people coming into new positions, having to work together, an infrastructure that, I think we really improved that a lot of people watching at home probably, don't get to see. But, as you may have read in a post that I wrote, this community, the health of the community is based upon, how well this school district functions. It is the pillar, and that's why it's so important that we maintain a strong school district, because it sort of radiates out across the whole community. And I really think the best is yet to come. So happy to stay involved, and I know you guys will do a great job. So thanks everyone for all the hard work. All right. And that's it. 9 o'clock, not bad. So smart brevity.
Not bad, and we are going to put your name in for the audit committee, right, Gerard? The finance
all right,
committee. There's
all right.
committees we're going to need you on, Mr.
I like
Post.
it. I
Please.
like it. I like it. So yeah, that's really like, I'll roll off. Other people will roll on, but it's the institution that endures, and our job is just to leave it better than we found it. So I think we've done that, and we're going to keep getting better in the years to come. So, all right, with that, motion to adjourn. Can I have it? Yes, Maria. Mariana, second. All in favor? All right. Oh, yes.
Ted, it's been an honor working alongside you. You've added so much value to our schools, and it's just been, I've learned so much from you. We've all learned so much from you, and just seeing you juggle such an important position. You're a father. We've seen you land from traveling overseas and run to a board meeting, and then run from there to be with your family. And it's just been such a pleasure. And the time you've invested in our schools. You have made them better, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's important and happy to do it and happy to take a little break too, but I will not disappear. So thank you for that. You guys have been fantastic and it's, I know the team will do great. So super. All right, now we can adjourn. Although you can keep it coming, but please stop. All right, motion to adjourn. All right, all in favor? All right, good night, everyone. Thank you.